Good morning, Retta's recovery reminders. Here's my Ratchie, right here next to me. My good girl. Sit down. Um, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Um, you know what? I believe that this Valentine's Day should be devoted to self-love. Because without self love, you can't love anyone else. If you don't love yourself first, you can't truly love anyone else. It's not authentic. Before I started loving myself, I was constantly people pleasing. I was doing things for other people to try to make them love me, and that's just not, it's not the way, it's not the way we're meant to work. It is kind of the way this society works, unfortunately, but it's not healthy. And it's not, it doesn't make you happy, It didn't me. I kept trying to make someone else see my worth. And if they don't see their own worth, they won't see anybody else's worth. And when somebody like over, I don't really know. I don't want to say too much on it. Whatever. It was just a very unhealthy, toxic relationship that I was constantly being codependent, and it wasn't healthy for me. I was very codependent, but I didn't realize it was something in me that I needed to heal, to make myself whole to begin with, and to love myself, because I am worthy of love and I am lovable. And anybody who can't see that, that's their problem, because I'm kind and loving to everybody. What they see has to do with what they've been through and the people that they've encountered. And that's what it is. Everybody has their own narrative that they make up of you in their head. And once they have that narrative, it's probably not going to change. And I realized this with my mother, my family, everybody. I don't care. I no longer care how they choose to view me. That's their view. They're allowed, and I lived a crazy life. So they're allowed to make any kind of judgment they want to about that life that I lived. And I really can't say too much about it. But I'm allowed to have whatever judgment that I need to have in order to live a better life, which I'm using the negative things in my life to try to, have that, shot put me into a positive. I'm trying to use it on the other side, and I'm using it as a positive to help heal other people who might have been in that same situation, who might have been stuck in a toxic relationship and thought that they couldn't get out, or stuck in addictive behaviors and thought that there was no way out of it. It's all our belief system and what we tell ourselves about the situation, what we feel like we need to get out of the situation. And that's okay. We're human beings. We do need things, and once you're able to give them to yourselves and be okay with that, we're all here having a human experience. And if anybody wants to judge anybody else's human experience, that's something in their own crap that they don't want to look at. Because when you're looking at your own crap, you don't have time to judge anybody else's. Really. I promise you, it's not something you think about. You're constantly thinking about what you're doing all the time. It's like awareness is a constant thing. And once you step into that awareness, you live your life in an aware state. You don't go unconscious and react in anger, or, you don't do those things anymore. You don't fall back into the same patterns of comfort that you did before you woke up. And that's the difference from where I was a year ago to where I am now. And it's quite clear. I had this, here's one. Take responsibility. But until a person can say deeply and honestly, I am what I am today because of the choices I made yesterday, that person cannot say, I choose otherwise. Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the most common barriers to personal growth is the refusal to take responsibility for oneself. Amen. It is true that there are genetic, political, environmental, and social forces playing a part in where we end up in our lives. But many great individuals have overcome bad hands by accepting their own role in determining who they are. What a great reading! Though you may be a victim, living a victim mentality would only add a second limitation to the first. So true. You are never the victim. You are the victor. Things happen. Things happen to everybody. It's part of life. It's how you deal with that and what your attitude is on the other side. Now, my attitude in life is, what can this teach me? What is this teaching me? What do I need to learn from this circumstance, from this person who is not kind, loving, or, trying to be on a level playing field? How do I deal with that? I deal with that by staying calm, staying aligned by, in who I know I am, which, I'm not an angry, hateful person. I'm just not. I mean, I was angry, when I was younger, but that was until I learned that, I was just feeding these negative emotions that I had from childhood. And when we actually go and address those internally, like when we look at the things we are afraid to face, they disappear like smoke. I promise you guys, go within and address what it is inside yourself that is, causing these, you know when you have those feelings. Your body tells you when you are out of balance every single time. It is your responsibility to continue to keep yourself in balance. Breathing, keeping your mind in check, knowing this is temporary. This is not like end all be all. This is just an experience that I'm having. And I couldn't do that for a long time. I was allowing the world to affect me so heavily emotionally. I was all over, and I couldn't get regulated. And that's what happens in a toxic relationship when somebody continues to try to put their anger and animosity onto you. If you don't know how to block someone's energy from becoming yours, and I used to take on other people's energy as my own. I didn't know why I felt that way, but it was I feel this way, and I just reacted on it. Now I know, okay, that's not my feeling. I feel other people's feelings, and I know this now. That's not my feeling. I don't have any reason to feel like that. And now I know this. Now that I've been alone for a while and I have my base, regulated emotion, which when I was in a toxic relationship, I couldn't, because constantly I was being triggered into fight or flight. And when you're triggered into fight or flight on a daily basis, your hippocampus goes offline. Okay, this is a fact. Look it up, Google it. When your body is triggered into fight or flight, your frontal cortex, the thinking mind, actually gets kicked offline. And everything else, because it's the fight or flight mind that comes in. And you actually lose your, it's called cognitive decision making or something like that. It actually goes offline. I mean, and once I studied what narcissistic abuse does to the brain, what constantly being triggered to an overly emotional state does to the human body, that's what puts you in disease. That's what makes people sick. That's what gets people old. That's why I look so much younger in just the 7 months that I've been out of that constant roller coaster of emotional turmoil. I don't care what anybody says, who you are surrounded with affects your mental state. If someone cannot get regulated within themselves emotionally, and they are constantly triggered into heavy, low vibrational emotions like anger, hatred, victim mentality as well, constantly everybody's out to get me, like that brings your vibration down. It doesn't matter how high your vibration is, you're gonna be somewhere down here because somebody, like I'm telling you, resonance is a thing. And we have to know that we are all in resonance. This is 528 hertz. It heals DNA. And I have been using this to heal my mind from the constant, traumatic triggers, anger, fear. I do not live in fear anymore. And I will not live in fear. I am not afraid of anything in this realm. Anything in this realm. Nothing. We have nothing to fear. It's all false narrative with our physical eyes that make up a narrative that we believe we see. It's all internal. It's all internal. We see the world as we are, not as the world truly is. And science is proving this. And, the closer you can get to yourself and like knowing that you're living in your authenticity, the better your life gets. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, now I feel like I'm living in my truth. And I don't really do anything but go to work every day and, try to be kind and loving and get into nature as much as I can, because that's where my connection to God is. I just saw this other one I wanted to read you guys. It's turn off autopilot. When you cultivated mindfulness, life became richer, more vivid, more satisfying, and you don't take everything that happens so personally. That's the first agreement. Don't take anything personally. Attention plays a more appropriate role within the greater context of a broad and powerful awareness. You're fully present, happier, and at ease because you're not so easily caught up in stories and melodramas the mind likes to concoct. Woo! Is that not true? Your powers of attention are used more appropriately and effectively to examine the world. You become more objective and clear-headed and develop an enhanced awareness of the whole. Kaladusa, the mind illuminated. Mindfulness is a key component to a good life. Your life runs on autopilot when you're not mindful. You miss out on the best experiences life has to offer, even when they're all around you, because you're too wrapped up in the tricks your mind plays on you. By practicing mindfulness, you can unlock a new type of control that puts your satisfaction in your own hands. True. When you take full responsibility for your life, you have the power to change it. And it's only when you take full responsibility for every choice that you've ever made in your life. And that's what I did. I owned all the choices I have ever made, good and bad. And I realized that at the time I made them, I felt like that was my best choice. And not every choice was voluntary. And now I know that. I did things to try to make people love me. And that's not something I'm willing to do today. People will either love me or they won't. And I know that the right people will, and the right people will be gravitated into my life, and they will support me and care about my feelings and how I feel, when they speak to me in negative ways, which is something that I didn't get in my last relationship. I am no longer willing to stand for self abuse, and that's all that is. Allowing myself to stay in a situation where I'm not valued or loved or even seen as a person, and that's something we really need to do is keep the humanity in our society, and it's just gone out. We don't see ourselves in everyone, and that I do. I see myself in everyone because I know that I'm one decision away from a totally different life. I know because I've been there many times. And until I could start making proper decisions for myself and my safety and my love, myself, not thinking of anyone else, because they weren't thinking of me. They definitely weren't. When they left me, they just weren't. And now that I see not everybody is capable of the love you give, people have their own brand of love, and that's okay. Everybody has to go through everything they have to go through to get to where they need to be. But it is up to you to get to where you need to be. Don't blame anyone else. Don't, fault anybody else for bringing you along because you made the choice to come. And until you have the courage to stand up and say, no more, I am not going to allow you to dictate any of my choices any longer. I will be in control of those choices from here on out. And people will try to convince you that you're not capable of making choices on your own because they have some kind of idea in their head. It says so much about them. But you need to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you can stand up and say, I don't know who you're talking to, but it's definitely not me. I love you guys. I hope everybody has a really great Valentine's Day. You are your own best Valentine. Love yourself today. And I don't mean the icky, like overly sappy, dozen roses and a huge stuffed animal. That's to show. And that's what I realized. It's just a show. It doesn't actually mean anything. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what's underneath the show because I'm not all about the show. I want the real emotion behind it. And I realize not everybody has that to give you. If they don't give it to themselves, they're not going to give it to you. I remember like right before he left, I was saying something about, I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm deeper than most other people, And he was like, yeah, we are. No, I said I for a reason. People that are really caught up in what things look like don't see the true worth in things a lot of the time. And you can like sprinkle glitter on poo, but it's still going to be poo. It's still going to smell like poo and taste like poo and like smell like poo, So when you know you're looking at poo, flush it. Hush it. Don't be afraid to be alone, because it is in that alone time that you get to know who you truly are, and you get to love who you truly are. And it's only when you truly love yourself that the world opens up to give you what you desire. And that's where I'm at. I am so grateful for every lesson that I have had in life that has taught me that the only thing that I truly have in this life is myself to depend on. Everybody else, human, is going to let you down in some way, shape, or form. It's guaranteed. They're human. We all make mistakes. You have to be on your side. And, I believe sin is when we make decisions that are not in our best interest. When we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of or treated in a disrespectful way, but we still try to get that person to give us the love or the respect that we're craving. You can't make anybody give you anything, If they're not willing to give it to you voluntarily, why would you want it? And that's what I realized. Like, if he doesn't want me around, why do I want to be here? He's spent 18 years telling me how much he dislikes everything about me, tried to make me cut my dreads and didn't want me to get tattoos and what? Didn't want me to dye my hair for a long time. Like, why? What the heck? It's control. When people feel like they can't control you, they get weird, and it's not love. It's control. And you have to love yourself enough to say, you know what? I deserve to be loved the way that I love people. And now I know that I can find that now. I will find that eventually. Once, I get my life in order the way that I like it. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there quite fast, too. It's almost been a miracle what has happened since I have jumped off the cliff of my toxic marriage. I sprouted wings and I am flying, and I will continue to, because I am connected to the Most High. And I have always, been connected to the light and the love. And that's something I realized, and I will live in that truth. I am a lover. I'm a lover, and I always will be. I love people. I love weird people. I love unique people. I love people that aren't afraid to be different, because everybody is just kind of, I don't want to do that goose step crap. We're all amazing little beings of light and life, and we get put in these boxes of fear by society, and it's up to you to break yourself out of that box. And it's only through discovering who you truly are as a being. We are light beings that have been lied to. In the beginning was the word. It's all about vibration. And what vibration you give off is what, narrative your life is going to go on. You have ups and downs, of course, because that's the way it goes. It's the sine wave of this duality. But, the base, whatever your attitude is, most of the time your base attitude, you always go back to that. And if it's in a low state, if you're depressed and angry and life sucks, that's not a high vibrational being. I want to be happy and have fun and go out and look for the best in every day. And if my partner in life is not willing to do that with me, then that's not my partner that I'm meant to be with. And that's what I realized. I was trying to fit something into something it didn't fit in. And, when I really got honest with myself, yeah, this is great. And I've been in this relationship. I made it work for a really long time. But is this really what I want? Am I really willing to give up every dream that I've had of, being completely like loved and adored, somebody to be completely crazy about me? Because he wasn't. He made it quite clear he didn't actually like me. Oh, it's a thin line. No, it's really not. I don't know who told you that, but it's a lie. And if you want to believe that, you can believe that with somebody else. And I'm just sorry it took me so long to come to that conclusion. Love is not the physical, it's the thing in your heart that makes you want the best for other people. And when you can truly say that you want the best for them, even if that's not with you, then you love that person, And I love my ex. I don't really like him anymore, but I do love him. And I wish him nothing but healing. And I hope he finds what he's looking for in life. And, I'm grateful for the times that we spent together. I'm grateful for the lessons that he taught me. Grateful, for my child. I just wish I could see him and talk to him, but I will soon. I'm working on it. I love you, Xavion. Every day I think about you and I pray we will be together soon. Mommy loves you so much. I love everybody, each and every one of you. I hope you have a really great Valentine's Day. Love yourself. Please give yourself all the love that you could ever need, desire, want. It all starts with you, I promise. Once you start giving yourself the things you need, you just, I don't know. I love you guys. Ratchet loves you guys. We both love you. I hope everybody has the best Valentine's Day. Yes. I love you. Be blessed. Peace.